Hello and good day, everyone. I am Gerald Eduarte, and on behalf of my co-authors, I'm pleased to present our study on the tree diversity assessment and stand structure of a 2-hectare permanent biodiversity monitoring area of Mount Calavite Wildlife Sanctuary. So this presentation will include the introduction, objectives, methodology, results and discussion, and conclusion and recommendations. So for the introduction, Mindoro is the seventh largest island in the country with an approximate area of 10,244 square kilometers. Its name was derived from the Spanish words mina de oro, which literally means rich in mineral resources. It has two highest peaks, which can be found at Mount Halcon at around 2,597 meters above sea level and Mount Tiglitbaco at around 2,498 meters. So currently there are four proclaimed protected areas in Mindoro, which includes Monteglip National Park, Nauhan Lake National Park, Apo Reef Natural Park, and the Mount Calavite Wildlife Sanctuary. So Mount Calavite Wildlife Sanctuary, or MCWS, is a declared uh, game refuge and bird sanctuary. It was declared on January 28, 1920 through the Executive Order Number 9. So MCWS was once covered with forest. However, due to the anthropogenic activities such as illegal logging and land conversion, as well as the opening of the protected areas, forest cover continues to decline. So currently, there is a lack of biological information in MCWS, which poses a serious gap in informing managers and policymakers on the current status of its biodiversity. Hence, there is a need for establishment of permanent biodiversity monitoring area to understand floral diversity. This study aims to generate baseline information for long-term ecological study. Particularly, it will serve as a basis for management and application of conservation and protection efforts. It is specifically aims to identify species composition, determine number of noteworthy species, such as endemism, conservation status, uh, possible new province records, and assess floral diversity, and provide recommendation on biodiversity monitoring system suited for MCWS. So the study area, or the PBMA, was established inside the NCWS in the municipality of Paluan, province of Occidental Mindoro, located at the of southwest Luzon mainland and northeast of Palawan. So it covers approximately 25,000 hectares and has a highest elevation of 1,520 meters. So the 2-hectare permanent biodiversity monitoring area was established in the area with the highest biodiversity value based on previous studies. It has a dimension of 100 meters by 200 meters, which follows a direction of due west and due south respectively. The 2-hectare permanent plot was subdivided into grids to form a 200 quadrats. The quadrats is measured at or has a dimension of 10 meters by 10 meters. So PVC were used as a monument markers or mohon to mark every quadrant. So basically, there are two different colors of PVC that has been used to differentiate every corners and every centroids. The orange ones were used for the corners and the blue ones were used for the centroids. For the basement survey FLORA, 100% inventory was conducted for the 2-hectare permanent plot. Uh, Standard measurement or standard instruments such as diameter tape, meter tape, Suntu, compass were used to measure, tag, and record trees having diameter of 1 centimeter or at least 1 centimeter. So attributes such as identity, diameter at crest height, and height were collected. In addition, the distance and bearing from the center of each identified tree were gathered for mapping purposes. So, of course, there are samples that will not be directly identified on the field. Hence, we have used or we collected and preserved specimens using wet collection method. This is just a sample of the left image is a sample of a specimen directly collected from the field, and the right image is a sample of a oven dried sample. So standard equations were used, such as density, frequency, dominance. This was used to further calculate the importance value of every species, which is a standard measurement in forest ecology to determine the rank relationship of every species. So paleontological statistical software was used to analyze diversity indices such as Shannon, Weiner, Simpson's, and evenness. For the results and the discussion, based on the forest formation types of Fernando et al. In 2008, MCWS or the PBMA in MCWS can be characterized as semi-evergreen rainforest. So it can be classified as young secondary growth forest due to the dominance of poles and saplings. So this is uh, at least 10 centimeter in diameter, which which is equivalent to around 87.6% of the total trees recorded. The PBMA is, of course, dominated by Syzygium species. So a total of 126 morpho species belonging to 86 genera and 48 families were recorded. Additionally, 9,404 individuals were recorded and tagged with a diameter of at least 1 centimeter. This is equivalent to around 4,702 trees per hectare or 47 trees per quadrat as its density. So the density is relatively higher than the stand structure of the 2-hectare permanent biodiversity monitoring area of Mount Makiling with around 44 trees quadrat and slightly lower than in Kasibu with around 49 trees per quadrat. So the top 5 most abundant species are Kamigay with 1,465 individuals, Salakadan with 766, Icon with 614, Takulao with 485, and Buktok with 413. There are a total of 1,983 individuals with at least 10 centimeter diameter were recorded. This is comprised by 86 species belonging to 64 genera and 41 families. It is still dominated by Syzygium, which has a genera of 7 species, which comprise of 7 species, and Letsea with 6 species, Ardisia and Jospyros with 3 species. So for the intermediate and understory, 8,224 individuals were recorded. As I've said earlier, this is around 88% of the total recorded trees. So this is comprised by 123 species belonging to 85 genera and 47 families. So the family Myrtaceae is has the greatest number of species with around 11 species. So for the diameter class distribution, the average diameter for all recorded individuals is 5.6 centimeter. This is lower than the PBMA in Mount Makiling with 14.28 centimeter and higher than Kasibu with 4.64 centimeter. So this is because of the presence of or the dominance of the poles and saplings with around 88%. For the diversity indices, the PBMA has a computed Shannon-Weiner index of 3.68, which means that the area holds a very high diversity based on the Fernando scale of biodiversity in 1998. So 17 out of 200, or almost 9% of the quadrant survey had high diversity values. Important to look at the quadrant 151 with a Shannon index of 3.2, which is considered to be the most diverse quadrant across the PBMA. So the rest of the quadrants had a moderate to low diversity values. So MCWS has 36 endemic species, which accounts to 31.86%. This rate of endemism is higher than in PBMA and in Cebu with around 27% to 30% only. So interestingly, not a single species was observed from the 2 hectare. So this indicates a pristine and ecologically undisturbed state of forest. So here is the 10 most abundant endemic species. Remarkably, abundant in the 2 hectare permanent plant are the 2 premium hardwood species, as white lawan and red lawan. So there are 16 threatened species that are classified with, which are listed under the Philippine Red List or the DAO 2017-11 or the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species or the IUCN 2021-1. So noteworthy among these threatened species are the 3 vulnerable premium hardwood species, the white lawan, Shorea contorta, red lawan, Shorea negrosensis, and the tangile, Shorea polisperma. So for the new province record, there were 27 species that were found to be as new records in the province of Mindoro, but this is only based on the very limited published literature. So the validity of this geographical distribution still needs to be verified. This is the 10 most important species across the PBMA: Nakamigay, Salakatan, Binoloan, Bokbok, Haikan, and so on. The first 5 species accounts to almost 45% of the total importance value. It is important to look at the 2 Cecidium species, which confirms the dominance of the genus Myrtaceae, the family Myrtaceae across the PBMA. So for easier visual interpretation of the plot that has been inventoried, we have prepared a map showing spatial distribution of trees. So in addition to this, we have prepared also a geodatabase which contains all the recorded attributes, including the identity, the height, the diameter, and so on. So this only shows the location, sample location of one of the trees inside the PBMA. So the geodatabase could be modified depending on the preference of the user to show different attribute species across the PBMA. So basically, this only shows the diameter class distribution, threatened category, and the endemism. You could also modify it depending on your preference. So for the conclusion, the results of the intensive 100% inventory revealed that the permanent plant of MCWS holds a tremendous tree and floral diversity. Floral diversity is at par with the highly diverse protected areas and highly conserved areas in the Philippines. The presence of ecologically important species seeks high regard for protection and conservation of identified areas. So we have identified 4 recommendations. Continuous monitoring every 5 years, because the initial survey only provides baseline information of tree flora. So this is to ensure or to better understand the ecosystem dynamics of MCWS. Next is the establishment of PBMA on different areas in MCWS to capture different stand structure or possible different floral composition. Next is the utilization of wildlings for planting efforts, because the use of available native and endemic species can contribute to a healthier ecosystems. Instead of leaning towards outsourcing introduced species which may become invasive through time. And lastly, the development of pictorial guidebook, which can increase the stakeholders' attention to further put efforts on the conservation and protection of the least known biological composition of MCWS. It will serve as a guide on the proper implementation of conservation and management actions of the remaining biodiversity of the area. So with this, I would like to acknowledge Proceeds Development Association Incorporated for letting me present the study, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, particularly Provincial Environment and Natural Resource Office of Mindoro. With that, again, thank you for listening.